Yeah.
It's midnight. Stuff like Patti LaBelle and them doing verses, and they're respectfully 77, 76, and they're still singing in like the original keys of some of their songs, and they'll be like, "Ooh, girl, that was high," and I'm like,
"You were in the key of 9.
You're in the key of 18, and you're still singing there." You know, mostly seated, but I'm just like, what has happened to our generation where we can't like get through a whole praise and worship? Like, by the end of the praise and worship set, we're just like, they are literally getting that water.
No, seriously. No, like seriously. I have seen more of these on this podium in the stage for the singers singing 2 songs than I ever have in my entire life.
So we grew up in a time where like our parents had this choir, and they would do a straight like 9-song concert, just back to back. Wasn't no water bottles.
No.
You know, wasn't no lemon juice and tea. Like I think there was maybe one concert where mama had to drink like tea or something that morning, and that's because she had just come off the flu. And then she sang what's that song, when in doubt and they said talk it over, like she sang off the piano and into the mic, like you know, that's the only time I ever remember our parents having like vocal issues. I don't ever remember them being hoarse. Like, what has happened?
No. I don't know if you remember. Well, not her, because we know why Daddy wasn't, but not her. Not him. I mean,
not him. Daddy. I don't think he will probably swear that he was. I don't ever remember him being hoarse. Mama, you know, she was running into some health challenges a little later, and she was. Sure. No. But even then,
you forget. Early in her years, I don't know if I was super young or even before me, she was diagnosed with vocal nodules.
Oh, I did not know that.
Come on.
I didn't know that. I knew she knew what they were. I didn't know she actually had them.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, she was a soprano and then dropped out. So that's usually what happens. Well, when people start.
Well, by the time she was singing, when I was remember, she was a solid alto.
She sang alto.
She sang alto.
She sang alto.
Yeah. But now that you say that, I do feel some kind of way about myself, because like old songs that she used to sing, I remember they were just like, oh, we're going to do a reunion concert and we're going to sing one of your mom's old songs. And they put that joint in the key she used to sing it in. And I was like, not today.
We're not
I don't know what key this is on the piano, but we're not doing that today. I mean, it was that, and I remember I heard the recording of her singing. It was full voice, and and I'm not low, but that hammer was like,
no, you're not low.
She was ridiculous.
Yeah,
but then by the time I came along, she sang alto.
She would sing alto. Yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't no real alto. I'm the only real deal alto here on this call. Right here.
In this whole family.
I'm the only real alto. Well, maybe Daddy. I'm the only real alto.
Daddy.
I know.
No, but then that brings up a good. So do they know why she had nodules?
Yeah, she taught vocal trauma. Well, so that's the thing with nodules. There's so many different types of trauma you can have to your vocal cords or vocal folds, as they call it. And there's so many possible causes. But for the nodules, I was actually looking into it because that was an issue I had. I don't know if you knew.
I remember when that happened.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Back in college. But it's from traumatizing the voice. Basically just continually pushing your vocal cords until they're traumatized. They get thick, and it's and if we had an ENT here, they would probably say it's like a callus. You know, have you ever seen people where they write incorrectly?
Yes, and
And
they
then
get
they
that
have
little
that callus.
yeah.
So that's kind of
Right.
what
As
the
I'm
vocal
like,
nodules. I know, right? Like,
right. Okay. I won't show my hand.
yeah, it's kind of like that, and then you can't sing past it. It's like sandpaper almost, you know.
Yeah. So
So
I remember when you had your vocal nodules, you had taken over a choir
I
in
did
college, and you were teaching parts,
all three.
all three parts. And I distinctly remember our mother saying, "Hey, don't do that."
Don't do that.
She said it,
She
and
said it.
we thought we were invincible, which is the problem. We think we're invincible when we're young, and we can sing, you know, the key of H9, Z, Q, and R. And how long did it take before you found out she was right?
There were times when she was like, "Don't do that. That's bad on the
Mm-hmm.
voice." Singing all the different parts, full voice, not using a mic, just
Right. Mm-hmm.
willy-nilly acting as if the voice that you have is always going to work. She did that preventive piece for a long time. I sang somewhere and she played for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got off, normally she'll be like, "You did all right." You know
Right.
how she was. You're never
Keep
good.
us humble. You did all
Yeah,
right.
you're
And
never
that's how you
good.
knew you did a good job. You
Right.
did
You
all
did
right.
okay. But I remember she said, when I finished, she was just like, "You got nodules."
Oh.
So I guess whatever she heard it, because you can hear like it's almost like a split tone
Mm-hmm.
coming through. So
Mm-hmm.
I went to I went to the ENT, and they said then, and then I had to go on vocal rest, and the net rest of history. Now I won't do anything without Mike. Testing.
Wait, but no, but they put you on medicine too, didn't they? They put you on like a steroid or something.
They did, because they weren't big enough to surgically remove, but
Yeah.
they did. And I think also to help the inflammation. It was, all inflamed, and cords were all thick and nasty. So just from being damaged, and then I had to go on rest for 1 year. It was so brutal because I could only talk 5 minutes out of an hour. And when I had to talk, I had to talk at this upper register and just be like really lightly talking. 5 minutes. That was when my favorite football team went to the Super
The
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
And I was just like screaming, whisper screaming,
Whisper
hashtag
screaming.
whisper screaming. Yeah. So yeah.
Whisper screaming. No, I remember that because you know what my biggest memory from that was. It wasn't the fact that you were on vocal rest. It was the first time you tried to sing after coming off.
After a year.
And after a year, and you were devastated. Like I remember, like I don't know if you were sitting next to Daddy or something, and he having to console you because you hadn't done anything for a year, and so your voice was just like, "You want us to do what?"
Oh my goodness.
And it did not come out the way you thought it was going to, or maybe I don't know what you were thinking. I just remember you just going into a full out, like, worthy of television.
You don't remember what it sounded like? It sounded like a growl.
I don't remember what it sounded like.
Oh.
I just remember you going into like a full out television series sob. Like it was worthy of
an Oscar.
Yeah. It was worthy. It was Oscar worthy crying.
No, I don't. I think it's because maybe you were traumatized by seeing the cry.
Right.
But if you could rewind like 30 seconds prior to that cry, it sounded like an animal or a growl. Like there was nothing melodic about it at all. It was just like I actually had to go back to my voice teacher to learn how to sing. It was amazing how badly my voice sounded. It was amazing. I hear more people singing outside of their range. Like when they're singing, you just need to, can you just drop it down
right. Take it down
a half a step? Like just
down a half step.
Because they'll still be high.
Listen though, here's what's crazy, because we grew up in a house singing all the time. We easily could be dragged into the living room to sing
Yeah.
a song.
Yeah.
And I remember being like asked to sing places, and they would ask for specific songs. And I'll never forget this. I think one time they asked for a Yolanda Adams song for me. And we all know Yo-Yo Adams, like some of the keys that she's singing, they not even on the piano. Like, let's be real about Yolanda Adams.
Bishop
Her voice
Yolanda.
don't even make sense.
No,
it don't even make sense.
It
Psalm
doesn't.
stresses out. It doesn't make sense. And so, but the first song I was going to sing by her was "Riding Through the Storm," and this was young Yolanda.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember Mama started playing, and I couldn't. I maybe was like maybe 13 years old, 13 maybe 14. And I was just like, the storms of life, I'm going into it like the storms of life blow, because I'm a theater kid.
Chanting.
Storms of life will blow. And she immediately stopped playing. She's like, nope, I'm taking it down a half step. I was like, dude, I can sing it here. I could sing it there. And she was like, nope. And she said something that was probably the most satisfying thing I've lived by as a person that likes to sing. I won't say I'm a singer. I like to sing. As a person that likes it. I like to sing.
Yeah, okay.
She said to me, I'm not putting it there because you have no place to go.
Mm.
And that turned into like a mantra in our house. Mm-hmm. Don't put it there. You don't have no place to go. Could you sing it there? Yes, but where are you going to go?
Where's your lift? Go?
Where's the lift? Right. And ultimately what that meant is that, yes, it's like singing, it's like pitching the Star Spangled Banner.
Wait, I knew you were going to say that. And why are we going to talk about the most controversial song in the world right now?
It is, but it's true.
But we have to use that example.
We have to use that as an example, because it's like, so a lot of people, when they go in to sing the Star Spangled Banner, if you're a singer and you're going to go sing the Star Spangled Banner, and I could always tell when a person that doesn't necessarily understand keys sings the Star Spangled Banner, and you can tell as soon as a person says, "Oh, say," you're like, "Nope."
No. Oh, say.
Nope. No. Right? You're like, "Nope.
You're not going anywhere with that.
You're not. This is going to end badly for everybody. It's going to end badly." You're right. And I remember talking to a singer one time, and they were just like, they said something about the Star Spangled Banner. I was like, the problem is that you're pitching it in the wrong part of the song. People are pitching it, oh, I can sing, it's too low if I go, oh, say, you're like, no, don't worry about it being too low there. Find it when you're going, and the rock. Pitch it there. And then work backwards.
Right.
There have been so many singers that have been okey-doked by the Star Spangled Banner, and you can see the look on their faces. When they get to End the Rockets, and they're just like, oh, this is not
happening. Let me tell you something. Whenever you're singing a song, you hear the note you're supposed to hear, and you go for the octave lower, shut it down. Just shut it down. As a matter of fact, you know what? Either just fake a syncopal episode, fall out, pass out. Like, just
blame it on Jesus.
Because you're gonna lose.
Right. I don't know if that'll work for the Star Spangled Banner. Like you pretend like you got the Holy Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Singing.
No. You have to pass all the way out, because they're gonna expect for your shout to end. You have to say, "I'm done. This is the end of the song." All the way out. Like they have to call 911 and EMS to come.
Oh my gosh! And you better work that. It'll be your best acting job. You better work it all the way through the ambulance.
All the way. Shortness of breath, chest pain, everything. Because you missed that note.
But here's what's funny is that Yolanda Adams' Riding Through the Storm is a lot like that. All of Yolanda Adams' songs.
All of them.
Here's the one that I know. Like there are people that will email me or text me because they're just like, oh, Danita is a soprano, so she could sing this. And I'm just like, I've been so many times. And one person, not too long ago, they were just like, oh, I would love for you to sing. And still I run.
No.
Like, no, I'm not singing it. No, because immediately in my head, I heard, yes, And I was like, nope,
No.
let Yo-Yo keep her song.
Whitney was high.
Again, though, Whitney was high. You're right, because I remember when I, again, was attempting to sing a Whitney Houston song in the original key. And we'll call it pre-Bodyguard, post-Bodyguard. That's actually a good,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Pre-Bodyguard, Whitney, she was singing some song, and at one point she modulates in it, and then like she modulates again, and you're just like, and it's one that a lot of people don't. Nothing should matter, nothing, love, hope, it seems like the choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, and then that hammer changes keys. You're just like, oh no,
Nope, I'm
you
done.
can leave me down here. Go ahead, sis. You go ahead and take that note.
Look, and if they ever played it and you're on the stage, once they modulate, this is what you do. Pass out. That's the only way.
Pass out. But we've done something wrong, though. That's my point that I was making earlier.
Well,
because think about it. So a couple weeks ago, I'm still flipping over the verses between Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. But the thing that got me about it wasn't so much as that I just love seeing like the two just share like fun memories or whatever. Patti was classic Patti, but Gladys Knight at one point sang one of my favorite songs, Neither One of Us. Neither one of us. Yeah. And she started just singing it in the mic, and that song starts like da 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 da, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, she got to the part where there should never be a happy ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
This hammer stood up in her beautiful sequin
pantsuits,
purple pantsuit, and she sang that song.
She
sang that song, and neither wants to be the first. Oh, neither one of us wants to be the first to say. Right? Tears it up, and then she sits down. She goes, "Woo, girl, that's high." But I'm just like, this 77-year-old woman just sang that song, and a lot of people were just like, "Oh, well, she lowered it," and I'm just like, "No, she was talking about lowering it if they ever go on tour. She would have to lower her song."
So, wait. Stop. Pause there. Did you hear what you just said?
She said it, and that's when, and I didn't know there was a moment where I sat there and I was just like, I feel like every singer did not hear what she was saying.
No, they did not. They did not hear that half step. Needs to happen if you're gonna sing multiple times.
Take the half step.
Multiple Sundays. Take the half step.
Take the whole step.
How about that? Just don't do the octave.
Right. But at 77, she's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to take that down." There's nothing wrong with taking it down a step. And I'm just like, there is nothing wrong. I don't know when it became fashionable to sing so high that it almost sounds like you're like screaming the note. So it's a fashionable thing. And I'm not sure when that happened, or it being fashionable that after you do like a 3 or 4 song set, you come off looking for your thing of tea because you literally have no talking voice.
I don't know if it's fashionable. I think it's become expected. So we have really become a generation of spectators and critics. Because think about it, back in the day, most of the time when you heard those people, you were at a live show. You weren't seeing, BET, MTV, Vimeo, YouTube. You weren't seeing all of that. People,
you weren't
singing all the time. There was no American Idol. There was no AGT, none of that. So now we have all of this. We have been spectators. We have seen phenomenal people. We expect everyone to be extraordinarily phenomenal. And the way that you are is you hit that very high note. And of course, everybody has to outdo the next person. So they hit that high note 5 times. And the other one hits it 17 times. And the other one says, it just put me in the key at a high note. And, people are just like, okay, if you're a real singer, you can sing high and you can make me feel the chills, and people do that. Now, granted, 2 years later, they can't sing at all.
Right.
But, it's a different.
It's nuts. This is going to sound weird, but that's kind of why I like Adele because she's
Yeah.
willing to make mistakes publicly. Like there's
Well,
a
willing,
very
wait,
famous
wait, wait. Willing, or she's
she
willing to
is
accept the
well
mistake?
she's just like, here's the mistake I made. Like, oops,
Yeah.
that was in the wrong key. There was a very famous Grammy performance
Yes.
that went horribly wrong.
It wasn't
And
cute.
she trolled herself on Twitter. She was like, "Oop, y'all, that was terrible." Like she got on Twitter and she was like, "Yep, oops, I made the mistake." But she's very, one of the things I loved is that when she had nodules. She came back from her nodule surgery,
Mhm.
and I think the Grammy performance after that, she lowered her song a whole step. And I remember the moment that she started singing, I was like, brilliant. Like I said it, I was like, that was brilliant. And a lot of people are just like, "Oh, this ain't in the same key as it used to." And I'm just like, "Well, of course it isn't. Like,
Right.
that's okay that it's not." I don't know why. Well, I mean, yeah, you said it. We have to get out of that whole spectatorship, because what happens is that when we have singers that are entering the business or in the business or even just at random church services or concerts, they have a level of expectation on themselves to be able to sing that high C that they sang 3 weeks ago. And maybe you're not in the high C range. Like,
I know. And the thing,
sometimes this week it ain't going to be a high C.
or maybe the audience ain't in the high C range. Now that's the other thing. You gotta understand what's going on with your audience, and you
Right.
can start high like and everybody's just like, wait a minute, we were expecting here like Olita Adams or Layla Hathaway,
Yes.
yeah,
Relax.
bring it down to the altos.
But you going to keep bringing it back there, right?
Hey,
But I
altos
just,
rule.
listen,
Wait,
I
wait, wait,
think it's
wait, wait, wait,
interesting.
wait. Gladys Knight is not a soprano.
She's not a soprano.
She is an alto. I'm claiming her as an alto. I don't know what she
Well,
claimed herself as.
she called herself a contralto. That's what
I'll
she
take
said.
that. I will take that.
But here's what's funny. That actually might be a theory, that maybe a lot of altos can hold their voices longer because they're willing to be like, that's too high. Because y'all do that. No, that's too high.
Well, let me say this: the true altos, because there's
True
some people
altos.
that join our team and they thought they were sopranos. They joined our team because their vocal cords quit on them, and now they're in alto range. But
Yeah.
no, the true altos. I remember
They'll be like, I'm not doing that.
Well, there's time when I know you'll start singing a song, and all I can, if I hear it an octave lower, that's not my key. I don't hear so much about people's vocal hygiene or how they protect their voices. I'm sure people have their own regimen that they do. I just remember Celine Dion talking about how she doesn't talk anything for 24 hours prior to a performance. For a full 24 hours. And my voice teacher, we had the same voice teacher, Danita, would say talking is like the worst.
It is.
It is the worst. And especially talking loud and exactly what we do once a week for 32 minutes.
Like you're condemning us.
Yeah, well, I don't have to say anywhere anytime soon. You do. You do, ma'am. So
I do. I laugh hard. And that voice teacher told me, she was just like, you laugh hard.
You do. It's great to hear.
I do.
But you laugh like you put your whole body into
my whole body. I should have abs, and I don't, for the way that I look.
But there is a vocal hygiene that people are missing. They think that little drop of water and
lemon and honey
2 minutes before is adequate. Although
they're like holding it, just like, what are you drinking?
Why
are you drinking that now?
I know. It's just like, you should have been drinking. Well, wait, they haven't hydrated all week. They've been drinking caffeinated drinks. They go to bed at 4:00 in the morning.
Hey.
I
didn't ask you to step on my toes on today's Here on podcast.
All of that hurts your voice. And we're not going to talk about the folks that do that recreational smoking.
We not.
That
don't help either, though.
It not only does not help, you might as well just just put a grinder, like I said, sandpaper on your vocal
On
cords.
your phone. You know what's interesting to me though is that so we talk about how you can damage your voice willingly, and then there are other times where you can find out through your voice that there are some issues that you didn't even know, because that's what happened to me. We're on opposite sides of the spectrum, because your we say your mother came up to play for me in something, and she pitched it for me, and I was like, that's too high, and she kept pitching it for me, and I was like, that's too high, and she finally brought it down probably to a key that you could sing in comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
And after it was over, and she came up to me and she was just like, something is wrong with your voice. She was like, you need to go to a doctor. And then at one point in the middle of it, I laughed like I usually do, and I put my head back, and I thought she was trying to choke me. She grabbed my neck, and she was like, no, go get that checked. And ultimately found out that I had this massive, what do you call it?
You had nodules in your thyroid.
I had nodules in my thyroid, and that were growing into the vocal cord, which was changing how high I could sing. And so I had to have surgery to have part of my thyroid removed. Yeah. And my ENT was just like, look, it's going to be rough. When the surgery is over, it's going to be rough. And I woke up, and our mother, who was classic, amazing.
No, you said what you want.
She was gangster. She was gangster.
This was gangster.
I woke up in the recovery room, and she leans over me, which I'm still trying to figure out how she got back there before
Pause. So, as a person who's in recovery a lot,
yes,
or have been enough times checking on my patients at the completion of surgery, there is a time when after you leave surgery, you go to the PACU or the post-op area, and you're not lucid. Like you don't, like the anesthesia is still in your system, and they're checking on you. We don't allow family back there. Until you go to that other phase. So I'm still like when you describe this, and I was on the plane on the way there, so I don't know what happened, but I was just like, how did she get back there that soon?
She beat PJ back there, my husband.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how she got back there. I remember waking up, and she was leaning over me. Because at first I thought I was dreaming. Like, why is she here? She was there. She was leaning over me, and her first words, me coming out of the surgery, her first words were, "Sing a song. Sing, encourage yourself," is what she said. And I opened my mouth, and because she wasn't playing, like, I better sing.
All right.
And I opened my mouth to sing, and nothing came out. Like, no notes. I could talk, no notes came out. And then maybe a day or so later, when I finally could get a note out, that animal sound, mine sounded more like a cat whose tail had been run over by a tricycle.
Animal. I can't believe you don't like an animal. Mine.
No, I don't. But I remember mine, and I went in, and then I remember thinking about you because I went into the same exact Oscar-winning sob, and it took me a year to get back to. It took me a year to get back to gospel, and like a year and a half to get back to classical, because it uses a different tone and a different set of vocals,
different type of control.
Yeah, it was
breathing, all of that.
For a person that likes to sing, that is awful. And I think a lot of times when you have these singers that get into these scenarios where they're just like, you can't sing, or you need the rest, or you need the surgery, they will avoid that stuff because that fear of having to be on vocal rest for 2 years or a year is terrifying.
I think a lot of people who do this for a living, singing is their livelihood, they have to make decisions that when I have a cold, when I really should not be singing, because I'm forcing an inflamed vocal cords to work, I still have to do it because of the money. And,
Yeah, I mean, but here's what's crazy. My kids watch a show, I don't know if it's on Disney Plus or whatever, and I can't even remember the name. Oh, Liv and Maddie. And there was an episode where the girl that sings on the show had vocal issues, and she chose to keep going anyway because, her fans needed her. But what I loved about the show is that her singing anyway actually damaged it worse. So they had several episodes of her having to walk back.
You love that part?
Well, because they showed the consequence. It wasn't like a beautiful kind of like, oh yes, she sang and did well.
Right.
And then ultimately when she went back to the hospital, they were just like, no, you jacked up, you know. And then they were able to follow the episodes, and it was over a course of several episodes where she was walking her voice back to being able to sing again.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to being the next episode where everything was fine. And I appreciated the writing in that, because I felt like somebody back there was just like, no, we should probably show the real truth, even if it's as small as a kid knowing, well, maybe I shouldn't, because this is going to be bad, you know, for when it happens. Now, mind you, as a mother, I'm standing in the back hitting kids on the shoulder, be like, see what happened to the girl? Don't do that. But
so I think your writing is wonderful, and I think there are a lot of great writers out there. This is my theory, that her voice actually was jacked, and they had to figure out how to get her to stop singing. They had to figure out, what we need to do is focus on that prevention. What we need to do is find out what Sister Gladys and Sister Patty and Sister Lena Horne and all of the. We need to figure out what.
They were singing in their range. So that's what the thing. It's like, even with our dad, we joke about it all the time, but our father is a legitimate alto, like for real.
I think so.
Like for real. But Daddy sings tenor, and he sings an excellent tenor. And whenever he pitches songs, whenever he's going to do a solo, he starts easy, he builds up, he'll kind of, get the last part out, and then that's it. Like, he's done. It's almost like he knows where his lane is.
Right.
And he'll stay there, so that if he does have to get over every once in a while, he's not, because he can sing alto, don't mean he does all the time. Like, I know that's not proper English, but he don't all the time. He's not singing alto all the time.
Yeah, there's nothing proper about that.
It isn't, but it's the truth.
Okay.
It's the truth. Gladys Knight, if you look at all of her songs, they're alto pitched songs. Layla Hathaway, alto, tenor. they're pitched in her range, and a lot of these singers that have this longevity that can continue to sing are singing in their range, and they're also when they're going live, they're not singing it exactly like the record. They'll run out of something that'll keep them high. I think one of the things I loved about Daryl Coley when he was alive is that you weren't going to get it the same time every time. I think my hope would be that those people that are kind of in like that, they're not quite well known, but they're in that range where they're still singing for like shows or churches or whatever, need to find that, so that you're not walking off stage.
Well,
whispering to the thing.
They also need to figure out, okay, why am I singing? Am I singing for the audience? Am I singing to make sure that the audience is like, oh, girl, you're anointed, or oh, girl, or am I singing because there's a message that I want to give? I'm singing within my space, within what my voice allows me to do. And because I think if you sing for the wrong reasons, that also is going to injure your voice, because you'll do stupid stuff, like singing the wrong key.
For the applause.
Girl, that's another. Is it another episode? For the applause.
For the applause. Don't sing for the applause. You know what I think I just accidentally did? Seed of substance.
Yeah, I was like, I hope you have the glitter. Wait, did we go in the right direction?
It doesn't matter. It's like seed of substance. That was a seed of substance.
Yeah.
Don't sing for the applause. Sing for the message. And you can take that to the bank in any genre of music. Every genre of music. Sing for the message. Sing for the message and not the applause.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your range. Stay in your lane.
Which I feel like we did today. Did we do better?
I think we did great today. We stayed on topic, girl.
What is going on? I feel like something's wrong.
I know, right? We need to bring up some random subject matter so that
I know.
I think it's still okay for us to get water now.
It is okay for us to get all of our water.
Get all of our water. Where's your water, girl? We actually got the water tonight. Look at that.
Yeah.
You did good, girl.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Time to say bye.
See you later, girl.
You're a doctor. You're a doctor. You are a legitimate one. You just don't play one on YouTube.
Some days.
No.